Hello everyone, I am Komal Mehta, teaching as an assistant professor in St. Andrew Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon. Today, in the series of web development course, we will cover about the main concerns about the web designing, what are the methodology we will use to designing the web page, and what do you mean by a domain system. So before starting all these topics, we must aware about the need of a web designing, what is the basic history about that, and how can we access critical issues in a web designing. So main objective here in this video is to discuss about the concerns and methodology we will use to designing the web page. So let's start with website designing. A good design means it should be into the account of all the web elements, audience informations, purpose, and objective statements. That means we must clear about the problem definition. Once I am clearing with the definition of the problem statement, then it's better for me to understand the solution. So the main concern is about the objective statement, domain information, web specification, and combine them to produce a plan for implementing the web. So we can say the purpose statement basically deals with objective statement, design process, and audience information. And all these combines to form a process that is web page linking. And to design a web page linking, we need web specifications and the domain information. So this diagram correlated all these terms in similar manner that of the web technology will use. The best website design for a web designing is one you like the best, because there are so many alternatives for the designing of a web page. But the best way you can use is the best one in according to your choice. However, just because your website is pretty not clear, your reader will read it if it will get a better content in comparison of the appearance. So we have to focus on the content, not on the appearance as much. Appearance is important, but it is secondary, not a primary source. So firstly we have to concern about the content, about the information what we actually want to transmit, or what is our target audience is the main concern here. Next is the appearance. So we have to focus later on appearance in comparison of the content. These are the some methods we use to design a web page. First one is top-down approach. In top-down method, designers start from the home page and then combine them with the help of multiple pages so that minimum information will be transmitted, but hold a place for later development in the web page. That means we first create our home page, and later on we will create some other web pages that we need according to the requirement. We will create our web pages, but initially we will create only the home page. Once the home page will be created and other web page will be created, then we combine with the help of hyperlink, and that link will be available in a home page as well as those particular web pages. Next approach is a bottom up approach. In bottom up approach, if the designer has no pages from which to start, they can begin by designing any of the page that specific objective he want to create, and then link them through the intermediate pages to the home page. So firstly we will create the intermediate pages. After that, once we are clear with main large goal, then we will correlate these short goals with the large goal. So short goals means some web pages that individual that particular web page have some objective, that is called a short term goal. But for long term goal, we have to create our home page that correlate with all these web pages. So once the short term goal is prepared, we will create a long term goal. That means once all the web pages will be created in a website, then we will create a home page that relate to all these intermediate web pages. They can adjust the pages to create a common look and feel for whole website. Next is incremental inline. In incremental inline, in time approach develops pages just in a time when they are needed. It means it is called a dynamic approach as well, because whenever we require any web page, in a website, then we will create that particular web page and then relate with the home page. So an initial home page might be needed as well as specific page that implement particular objective. They are created and linked by understanding that later intermediate pages might be added. So initially, we can say we have created a blueprint, and that blueprint contain all the necessary information. Once the implementation will be done, we will realize that there is something missing in that particular website. So we have to insert it at a runtime. That is called a incremental inline time, because in that home page is already created, other web pages is created, and linking is also done, but the web page we need at that duration will have to insert as an intermediate page, and the link also we have to create on a home page at that duration. That's why it is called a dynamic one. Now there are some concerns about the website designing. What are these one? Initially, first is goal identification, where I work with the client to determine what goal the new website need to fulfill. That means what is the basic purpose, we have to identify that one. In the initial stage, we can say the designer need to identify the end goal of the website. But once this will end goal will be done, we have to create some short term goals. In this process, we can say there are some points is included, that is who is the site for, that means what is the target audience, we can say what do they expect to find, or where is this website has a primary aim to inform, to sell, or anything else. So what is the basic purpose of this particular website is identified in this. Does this website need to clearly convey a brand core message? Is there any competitor of this website? So all these are the some questions that are covered in a goal identification method. This is the important part of any web development process, because we have to clear about the goal. And for that, there are some tools to identify that. For example, we can say audience, competitor analysis, brand attributes, and so on. Next is scope definition. In scope definition, once we know the site goal, we can define the scope of a project. That is, what web page and features the site requires to fulfill the goal, and the timeline for building those out. That means one of the most common and difficult problem is this one, because we have to identify uh, the goal in our mind. That means the scope, up to what range this will be reached. This is not necessarily a problem for a designer, as it often led to more work. But if the increased expectation are not matched by increase in budget or a timeline, then it will create a problem. That means that then it will create unrealistic. With We can do it with the help of contract, we can do it with the help of Gantt chart that we'll discuss later. So these are some tools to define the scope, up to what range the website will be valid and applicable. Next is sitemap. With the scope of well defined, we can start digging into the sitemap. That helps to find out the content and the features of the scope definition will interrelatable. Interrelatable means how these particular modules will be related. In this, we will create so many modules. For example, in a website, there are so many web pages. The first page is called as a home page, and other pages are the normal web pages. So how these all other pages and the home page correlate with each other, this is called the sitemap or a wireframe creation. In this, we have some tools. For example, we can use pen, pencil, sketch, webflow, Slick Plan, Write Maps, MindNote. So there are so many other tools for site mapping. As per our convenient, we can use that one. Next is content creation. Now that we have a bigger picture of the site in our mind, we have to start creating content for individual page, always keeping search engine optimization in mind to help to keep pages focused on a single topic. We can say once our website framework is in place, we can start with most important aspect, that is content. So the main concern about is content creation. In this, we have to focus on the CEO purpose, how the drives engaged, what are the actions we have to perform. So we have to focus all these things. With the help of SEO tools, we can do it. And there are some other tools for content, that is Google Docs, Dropbox, Gather Content, Webflow, and so on. Next is visual elements. Once our content is filtered out, then we have to move to the visualization, how the appearance of the website. This with the site architecture and some content in a place, we can start working on a visual brand. Depending on the client, this may already be well defined, but we might also be defining visual style from ground up. There are some tools as well that are element collage, mood board styles, and so on. This is basic part that helps in usual aspects. For example, we can use Photoshop, Sketch to visualize a design and to communicate and to appeal to the site user. We will use this. Get it right and it can determine the site success. But if we are getting wrong, then it are just another web address. It's not our address. So that may be difficulty. Next concern is testing. Once all the process will be done, content is filtered out, we have visualization effects applicable in our website. Now the next is testing. How we test? By now, we have got all our pages and defined how they display to the site visitor. So it's time to make sure it all works. That means all the modules are combining in a similar manner, and that will work in a proper manner or not will be tested over here. So this there are some tools also for a testing, that is SEO Spider, W3C link checker. So these are some tools that helps in finding out combining manual browsing of a site on variety of devices and issues to the simple broken links to correlate them and give feedback also. Next is launching. Once everything worked beautifully, it's time to plan and execute our site launch. This should plan and launching time and communication strategies. When we have to launch, what will let us let know the word is, after that the time we will take a break. So these are some thing we have to focus once I am launching. In web designing, designing is general. It is all about finding the right balance between the form or a function, we can say. So skilled designer should be well versed in this concept and able to create a site that walks to the delight tightrope between the two. So the key thing to remember about the launching stage is that it's now nowhere near to the end of a job. The beauty of web is never finished. Once the site goes live, we have to continuously run under user testing on a new content, because once the whole thing will be done, we have to update according to the duration of the time, because that must be updated, because user will get information at a proper duration or a proper time. So this is all about the main concerns of the web designing. Now we will focus on the domain name. Domain name is nothing, it's just a website name, as simple as that. Because we can say a domain name is the address where internet user can access our website. It is a name used for finding and identifying the computers on the internet. For example, we will use any website, then we must know about the address of that particular website, and that address is called as a domain name. So we can say computer use IP address, which are a series of numbers. However, it is difficult for human to remember the string of a numbers, because we can't remember any amount of a numbers, right? So because of this, domain name was developed and used to identify entities on the internet rather than IP address, because that help in uh, way of communication as well. So a domain name can be any combination of letters, numbers, or we can say there are some combination of various domain name extensions. For example, .com, gmail.com, organization.net, and many more. So there are so many websites that contain domain name definitely. Whenever we visit a website, the domain name appears in the address bar of the web browser because it is also the address of a particular web page or a website. Some domain name are preceded with the help of www, while some omit out the www. So there are prefix not a mandatory. That is optional that we can use or we can't. It's completely up to us. But the suffix is mandatory. All domain name must have a suffix. For example, .com, .net, .org. Why so? Because that suffix helps us to know about the type of a website the domain name represents. For example, we will say .com shows commercial website, .org shows non-profit organization, and there are some countries organization as well. For example, if I am using .sz, that for Switzerland, so there are so many suffix in a website. For with the help of that we can identify the country because country makes their own domain name. Okay, so we can access a website. The domain name is actually translated to IP address, which define the server where the website located. With the help of that IP address, the translation will be performed dynamically by the service. For example, that is called for here that is called a DNS. I'll discuss it later. What do you mean by DNS here? So the domain name must be registered before you can use it. Every domain name must be unique because no two website can have a same domain name. The price of a domain name typically run between the particular range, that is 15 to $25 per year. So this will be vary, not the fixed one. The domain name are cheap to register, though they can be renewed every year or every few years. The good thing is that we can purchase a unique domain name for our blog, for our website, whenever we will register. But the bad thing about that is the common words or a common keywords were already used. So we need some variation to create our own domain name. This is the example of a domain name. First thing here is HTTP, that is a protocol. With the help of colon and backslash, protocol is separated from this particular type. So www here is a host name, that is a prefix we can say. That is not completely mandatory, that is optional. Next is my domain. My domain is a domain name. And next is a .com. Here com for a commercial website. It means this particular website is a commercial website. And .com is called as a top level domain. After that, with the help of backslash, we will show the path of a file where the actual file is placed. So myfile.html shows the path name. If we have a subfolder of that particular file and we want to mention this also, then again backslash and that particular subfolder is mentioned over here. Here the domain name and top level domain combinedly form a root domain. So the root domain is a mydomain.com that contains a commercial website, and that commercial.com refers to top level domain and my domain here refers to the domain name. So this is the sample or example we can say about the domain name. Now, what do you mean by domain name server? It is very difficult to find or to keep in a mind the IP address of all the websites we visit daily, because we will use so many websites at a single duration, or in a day we will use so many websites. But the IP address of all that one will be rememberable is impossible for us. So words are easier to remember for a human in comparison of a number. That's why that particular number is converted into a name or a string we can say, and that name is known as domain name server. When we visit a website, we all need to know about its URL. What the URL is. Computer remember numbers, and domain name system helps us to convert the URL into the IP address, because Once I am typing anything, and then the conversion will be done in a numbers, and that number computer will understand. It will convert that URL into an IP address, and that IP address is understandable by the computer. So the communication is done in this manner. When we type in a domain.com into our browser, the browser first need to get the IP address of this particular name, because computer understand only IP address, as I already said. So the browser contact to the domain name server, and that server will help to find out the location of a server and the query, so that web page are stored. Where the web page is stored is mentioned over the DNS server, and DNS server then directly redirect to the IP address of that particular website, and that IP address is mentioned over the system. So this is the all communication done between the end users and the IP address or a domain name, how DNS works. So the conclusion about domain name system, we can say, is used for worldwide, particularly in the world of a networks and data communication. So the following points we will have to focus how this work and how they are used. It is of two parts that is separated by a dot. For example, example.com. Here example is a domain name and .com is a top level domain, as I discussed earlier with the help of example. So the next thing is we have to focus that domain name can be used to identify a single IP or a group of IP address. A host or an organization may use domain name as an alternative IP address, because domain name are alphanumeric, or making them easier to memorize. That will be easy for the human to memorize the name, not a IP address. So it is an alternative for the IP address, we can say. Domain name is used as a part of URL to identify the website. Next thing is top level domain that I discussed with the help of example. So .com, .gov, .org, all these are the top level domain. The IP address in a domain name background is converted to recognizable domain name by a system will be done with the help of domain name system. So DNS completely help in a communication between the first level and the last level. That means with the communication between end user to the IP address. So this is all about today lecture. Thank you.